Apple TV has always been the premium streaming device. Smooth animations, blazing performance, spot-on color accuracy, precise HDR calibration, Dolby Vision support, and deep Apple ecosystem integration. From the first boot to the 100th movie night, it feels intentional. Menus glide, transitions breathe, and the image on screen looks like it was tuned by someone who cares. Color balance with iPhone dials in tone for your TV, match frame rate, and match dynamic range preserve creative intent, and audio stays pristine with options like EARC pass-through and spatial audio with AirPods. It looks great, feels fast, and delivers that high-end home theater experience right out of the box. But for multi-user homes, one thing held it back: profiles locked behind Apple IDs. Parents had to create separate Apple IDs for each child. Roommates had to juggle multiple logins on the same device. Guests had no easy way to get a personalized experience. Profiles were technically powerful, but practically restricted, and that friction clashed with Apple's simplicity. If you valued clean recommendations and separate up-next queues, you either did the Apple ID dance or you gave up and lived with a shared mess. For a device that prides itself on reducing friction, this was the last lingering speed bump. With tvOS 26.2, that changes. Apple introduces ID-free profiles on Apple TV. Create a profile, give it a name, pick preferred genres or ratings, choose an avatar or color, and you're done. It works for adults and kids. No sign-in, no account creation, no friction. You can keep an Apple ID attached if you want purchases, iCloud photos, or Apple Arcade saves to roam. But you no longer need one just to keep your home screen tidy and your recommendations relevant. This single change pushes Apple TV into a new era of convenience and competition. Standing tall alongside Roku and Google TV for multi-user features, while playing perfectly with apps like Netflix, Disney+, Prime Video, and Hulu, the family benefits are immediate. Parents no longer need Apple IDs for every child, which means no email juggling, no password resets, and no awkward workarounds. Roommates can finally keep recommendations, up-next queues, watch history, and app rows separate. One person's sports obsession or horror binge no longer pollutes the whole household. Guests can spin up temporary profiles in seconds and feel at home without touching your accounts. And you can archive or delete those guest profiles just as quickly. Even the home screen layout can reflect each person's habits. Different app order, different rows, different tastes. Households get a true, multi-user environment, personalized for everyone, without tying every profile to an Apple ID. It's a small setting with a huge, everyday impact. Profile switching itself feels redesigned for speed and clarity. A long press on the TV button surfaces, control center with distinct profile tiles. Tap one, and the system shifts immediately. Up next refreshes, the TV app rearranges, and even series context adjusts to the active person. If you're wearing AirPods, Apple TV can hand off audio and keep it personal. And if you're using continuity camera, your video calls and FaceTime links stay scoped to your profile. The whole flow respects boundaries without making them feel like barriers. tvOS 26.2 also brings a major win for parents: child profiles with automatic content filtering. When a child profile is active, the Apple TV app only shows content within the ratings you allow, like TVY, TVY7, TVG, or G. This filtering works at the app level and on the home screen, so inappropriate thumbnails, violent movie posters, adult categories, and dark suggestions simply don't appear. Kids see a safe, curated space. Parents get real peace of mind without constant supervision or manual tweaks. And because it's system level, the rules feel consistent across the Apple TV app experience. Not a patchwork you have to babysit. There's more to it than hiding rows. Parental controls can require a PIN to exit a child profile, lock purchases behind authorization, and restrict app installs. Siri respects the boundaries too. Search results reflect the rating limits. And voice requests that would surface blocked content simply don't resolve. Even the aesthetic trims down for younger users, with cleaner rows, bigger, friendlier art, and fewer disruptive prompts. The result is a dedicated kid-ready mode that looks intentional, not bolted on. This puts Apple TV right up against Amazon Fire's kids profiles, and Google TV Kids mode, and Roku Kids mode. but Apple's take feels more polished. Cleaner, privacy first, and tightly integrated. There's no ad ID creep here. No sensation that your child's viewing habits are feeding someone's marketing pipeline. The combination of ID-free profiles and smart filtering makes Apple TV far more family-friendly and far easier to recommend to parents who want control without complexity. It's the rare feature that's both safer and simpler. Under the hood, tvOS 26.2 brings performance upgrades you can feel. Profile switching is dramatically faster, less reloading and more already there. Animations in the TV app look cleaner, with tighter timing, subtle motion blur refinements, and fewer dropped frames when rows get heavy. Scrolling is smoother. Recommendations refresh more intelligently, aligning better with each person's tastes without the whiplash of shared accounts. Search feels snappier, and the system keeps more context in memory, so you can bounce between apps and profiles with minimal friction. The child profile restriction system feels smart, intuitive, and consistent, so rules apply reliably across the Apple TV app experience. These per-profile improvements touch more than content. Subtitle preferences, audio languages, accessibility options like reduced motion and closed captions, and even interface contrast can be stored per profile. If one person always picks subtitles and another prefers original audio with English descriptions, tvOS 26.2 remembers. It's a subtle shift that makes each switch feel like stepping back into your own living room, not a shared terminal. All of this points to Apple TV 4K evolving beyond a simple streaming box. It's the center of an entertainment setup and a growing smart home hub. It's your gaming console with Apple Arcade, your fitness companion with Fitness Plus, your video calling screen with Continuity Camera, and your home theater anchor, showcasing Dolby Vision and Precision HDR. With profiles that are flexible, fast, and friction-free, every one of those experiences can adapt intelligently. Arcade saves, controller mappings, and difficulty settings can live with a person. Fitness Plus can surface the right workouts without bumping into someone else's history. Continuity Camera can default to the right FaceTime account, while still keeping the profile ID free. The stronger the profile system gets, the better Apple can layer on AI-powered personalization and deep multi-user intelligence. That's the biggest story behind tvOS 26.2. By removing the Apple ID requirement for profiles and adding automatic content filtering for kids, Apple lays the groundwork for a truly personalized, multi-user future. Imagine an Apple TV that adapts instantly when you pick up the remote. Different apps and rows for each person, recommendations that actually make sense, cues and up-next lists that stay clean, and kid-safe screens that never accidentally surface the wrong content. Picture Siri responding to your voice in the living room and quietly switching the active profile, or your AirPods joining and bringing your audio preferences along. Imagine guest profiles that auto-expire, family movie nights with shared watch lists that don't corrupt individual suggestions, and multi-profile live sports views that prioritize different leagues without conflict. That vision starts here. For everyday users, the impact is clear. Families get a safer content environment that feels native and effortless. Parents gain simple, powerful parental controls without the busy work and without the overhead of new accounts. Roommates keep their privacy and their preferences separate. Guests can jump in without logins or setup headaches, and hosts don't have to babysit. Apple TV finally behaves like a true multi-user device where everyone gets a personalized experience that follows them, not their accounts. And because Apple's design leans pragmatic, all of this rides along with the basics people already love. The stable app ecosystem, responsive UI, and reliable playback. There's thoughtful attention to the edges, too. If you do sign in with an Apple ID, your purchases, Apple TV channels, Apple Arcade Progress, and shared photo albums are right there. If you don't, the system stays lightweight and local. You can lock profiles with a passcode, let kids ask to watch new content via a prompt, and define rating boundaries that stick. And when it's movie night, a profile switch doesn't reset your TV's picture mode or audio choices. Match dynamic range and match frame rate continue to do the right thing for your display and sound system. For accessibility, per-profile settings make a meaningful difference. A person can enable bold text, mono audio, or audio descriptions. Another can leave them off, Larger subtitles, different caption styles, reduced motion, increased contrast. These can all be personal. Its inclusion handled the Apple way. Not as a separate silo, but as part of your everyday experience. Developers benefit as well. A stable, well-documented profile framework means apps can lean on system signals for age ratings, recommendations, and watch history routing instead of hacking their own. That reduces duplicate sign-in prompts and awkward in-app "who's watching" gates. When the system knows who's active, apps can feel lighter, faster, and more consistent, and households feel less nagged.